This is a reminder and a warning. Tomorrow, Americans from Baltimore to Bakersfield will participate in more than 2,500 No Kings protests, not as Democrats, not as Republicans, but as citizens, answering what 7 out of 10 Americans now believe to be a constitutional crisis. Never in the history of our republic has a president sent a National Guard unit from one state into another without the consent of that state's elected leaders. Never in the history of our republic has a president sent massed federal police into American cities to conduct warrantless raids, pulling children out of their beds in the middle of the night, arresting American citizens for absolutely no cause, shooting a praying priest in the head with a pepper ball. Never in the history of our republic has a president shut out the legitimate press from both the White House and the military. And never since the Civil War have we been this close to a total breakdown in constitutional order. Our founding fathers, imperfect men, had wisdom enough to list 5 particular freedoms first in the Constitution: the freedom of religion, speech, press, peaceful assembly, and the right to petition our government for grievances. These were listed first for a reason. From women's rights to civil rights to peace movements, we have used these freedoms to make good change in our country. In 1970, more than 20 million Americans marched in the first Earth Day protest. That was 10% of our population of the time, peacefully assembled. And months later, it led to the creation of the EPA, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act. These weren't radicals, these weren't terrorists, these were Americans using disciplined, peaceful pressure to make real change in their government. And it worked. So here's the warning. Donald Trump has 2 goals. The first is to define Americans as radical enemies of the state. And the second is to provoke us into violence so he can control the nation under military rule. And we are not going to give him that excuse. We are not on the streets to give Trump his riot. We are on the streets to deny him a crown. And tomorrow might be the largest protest in American history. Millions of Americans standing shoulder to shoulder, defending our Constitution without firing a shot or swinging a fist. And years from now, when our kids and our grandkids ask, well, what did you do to secure my freedom? We can say, I stood up, I spoke out, and I did it peacefully. Not because I was afraid to raise my fist, but because I wouldn't give a tyrant a war that he wanted. And as a veteran, I am deeply honored to walk the streets of America with you tomorrow as we hold the line together, as we hold it peacefully. I'll see you there.